Mrs. Provenzano? Yes, ma'am. The position that you are running for receives a sizable paycheck and benefits. How many hours a week will you commit to working the position? And how many vacation days can the taxpayers expect that you will use during that year?
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure that that's statutorily required to have those rules. I mean, of course I'm going to be there every day I can be there. Where else would I be if I was supervisor? I'm not going to take a paycheck and not do the work. On vacation days, I've never taken a vacation day as a clerk. I think I missed 3 meetings in 8 days, in 8 years. 2 of those were the deaths of my parents. So, you know, am I going to collect a paycheck and sit at home? No, I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous.
Same question. The position that you are running for receives a sizable paycheck and benefits. How many hours a week will you commit to working the position, and how many vacation days can the taxpayers expect that you will use during the year?
Well, certainly the position of supervisor is without a doubt a full-time job. In the past several years, I think it's been treated as a part-time, and that's not correct. So you should expect at least 40 hours worth of time. There'll be other times where there's meetings or letting people in and out of the hall, or going to different events that may require time on the 40-hour range. But the office itself, I believe, would be staffed on a normal basis, other than if the supervisor had to go out to check on a property or to check on a citizen. So I think you'll see 40 hours a week or more. Regarding vacation time, that's really tough to say. We'd all love to take lots of vacation. I think most people expect 2 to 3 weeks vacation a year. That's what I would be looking for. You may find that some years might be a little more, some years might be a little less. But I think that's normally the acceptable practice. Thank you.
Mr. Jennings, you again?
I mean, let me sit down.
I don't know. I think you guys would have got it by
They
now.
should just put our chairs along.
That's it. Describe your budgeting philosophy. Are there specific areas of change you would seek from the trustees?
Well, budgeting philosophy, there's only one philosophy that can be handled right now. The town fund is in dire straits. You have to start at every line item and cut anything that is not necessary at all. One of the most major things I can think of right off the top of my head is payroll. We've spent, well actually we've changed payroll systems. I think now we're at about $8,500 a year for payroll. We were spending over $10,000 a year for payroll. That's ridiculous. I know that our current secretary has experience with payroll, and I believe that should become in-house. Anything else that you can cut expenses to try and get the budget under control and not just see getting the budget to meet its own ends, but hopefully at some point build up a reserve. Every year we have to beg and borrow money to make it from one year to the next until we get things from the county. That needs to stop. What was the other question?
Second part was, are there specific areas of change you would seek from the trustees?
Well, I think that the trustees they need to have more input. And, you know, having come from a trustee position, I can tell you that our last administration, in my opinion, did a lot of things for the trustees. And I would look for the trustees to help as more of a steering committee as well, to provide input that's valuable to help make the office run, not just to come in and pay bills. Thank you.
Mrs. Provenzano, describe your budgeting philosophy. Are there specific areas of change you would seek from the trustees?
Well, the first part of the question, Lee had close. Jim Schlater, our current supervisor pro tem, since Jim Heisler has resigned, was asked to put together, every 4 years we put together a salary schedule for the incoming elected official. Jim was kind enough to call and ask my opinion, And knowing that we're one of the highest paid officials, township officials in the area, I suggested a 20% cut. We ended up, the current board, which my opponent is on, cut the, what was it, 2% and froze it for 4 years. And the trustees,
The second part of the question was, are there specific areas of change you would seek from the trustees?
I was so impressed with Mr. Shorten as the trustee. I thought he asked pertinent questions and seems like a fiscal conservative. So I'm hoping that the rest of the three, well, I know Ed is, but the rest of them, I hope that they will focus on the taxpayers' business and not be busy picking sides between the highway department and the supervisor's office.
Mrs. Provenzano?
Oh.
Once again. The supervisor's office requires working with individuals who are in desperate personal situations. Explain your approach to working with people who come to the township offices looking for help.
GA, you're referring to the general assistance?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. I've had many discussions with several people whose, opinions I respect about this, and I think Lita does a great job with the GA people. I've seen her deal with them. That would break my heart. I'd follow the rules and learn what our responsibilities were as taxpayers, but afraid I'm going to be pulling my purse out and handing 20s out to people and saying, go buy groceries. It's going to be hard, and I'm hoping that I get a good staff member like Lita who can handle those people with respect and dignity and confidence.
Mr. Jennings, the supervisor's office requires working with individuals who are in desperate personal situations. Explain your approach to working with people who come to the township offices looking for help.
Well, certainly they're looking for compassion, but they're looking for help. Our emergency assistance funds run out every year. We don't have enough money to fund that office. I would first and foremost look for other sources to fund that and look for other ideas. Go to local manufacturers and retailers. Ask them to submit any jobs that they have to us, so they have a job opportunity setting. But you have to show them more than just money. You have to show them something powerful. And I think working within our community, we can hope to foster something like that. Thank you.
Mr. Jennings, one of the key areas of responsibility for the supervisor will be the disbursement of general assistance funds. However, salary expense in the supervisor's office exceeds distributed funds by a ratio of 4-to-1. What do you believe this ratio should be?
I'm not sure if I can repeat that.
No, that's fine. One of the key areas of responsibility for the supervisor will be disbursement of general assistance funds. However, salary expense in the supervisor's office exceeds distributed funds by a ratio of 4-to-1. What do you believe this ratio should be?
Honestly, I'm not sure if that's accurate or not.
These are all emailed in.
Right. I think it's worth looking at, certainly, but I can guarantee right now I don't know the exact answer to that. If we can reduce expenses to provide more, more programs to help them, that's certainly what we do.
Again, one of the key areas of responsibility for the supervisor will be disbursement of general assistance funds. However, salary expense in the supervisor's office exceeds distributed funds by a ratio of 4-to-1. What do you believe this ratio should be?
Is it statutorily set? I don't know enough about the VA to answer. Are you saying that we don't budget enough for general assistance? Is that why we run out of emergency funds every year?
It was an email question.
I mean, 4 to 1, I don't understand. Do you, Lita, do you understand what the question's saying? No? I'm sorry if I,
Question is out there.
if I knew, I'd give an answer, but I can't.
I think we're at agreement there.
I just,
Yep. They come in, we get
Yeah.
it. Mrs. Provenzano, there are husband and wife teams where there would be overlapping offices either with the county board and the supervisor or supervisor and the clerk being from the same family. Apart from technical conflicts of interest, is it wise to place that much power in the township?
well, I grew up in the county, and my dad was a volunteer fireman for 18 years. Does that mean that I shouldn't be running for office? I mean, like I said, if you're going to put yourself out there, I have no conflicts because, you know, I don't talk to Nick about what's on the county board. I mean, once in a while we have a discussion, or he'll come to a township meeting, but we don't have any conflict. I definitely see a conflict with the Jennings being married on a 6-member board, because if there was ever any legal stuff, she couldn't testify against her husband. I think that's the law. I'm not a lawyer, maybe Mary McClellan.
I'm not here to give advice.
But,
The price is only what you pay for it.
yeah. I'm sure you're way too expensive for the township.
Mr. Jennings, there are husband and wife teams where there would be overlapping offices either with the county board and the supervisor or the supervisor and the clerk being from the same family. Apart from technical conflicts of interest, is it wise to place that much power in the township?
Well, to begin with, the clerk's office is actually a part-time job, where the supervisor's is a full-time job. The technical conflict aside, and there could be one potential area of technical conflict, I don't think there'd be an issue. I don't know if many of you are married, but your wives and your husbands don't always agree with each other. So if there wasn't a chance where there could be an opposing vote, I'm sure that we each could make our own decisions and make them appropriately. Thank you.
Mr. Jennings, if elected supervisor, under what circumstances would you propose or vote for an increase in the tax levy?
I actually would avoid that at all costs. I think that we've been taxed enough and we need to cut our costs without a doubt and keep those tax levies in the very least equal. I think that if done properly, we could do that and actually provide more services. There's a lot of services we can provide without increasing taxes. But that would be my number one goal, never to increase that. Thank you.
Mrs. Provenzano.
As clerk, I've watched my opponent raise taxes on levies. This year, the levy was flat, of course, because it's an election year. Everyone kept the election flat and wanted to reduce the salaries because of an election year. I've watched my opponent raise the levy 37 times. I was at a meeting where John Heisler couldn't make it because his mother was ill, and the assessor had pointed out to the trustees that they could even ask for more money than the supervisor was recommending. So that's what they did, because he wasn't there to say, whoa, wait a minute, I don't think we need it. So my goal is to use what we have the best we can, you know, and to add programs that are revenue neutral or revenue creating, and try to keep in mind that everyone has a tough time now. You know, I've been through tough times. I'm not going to put anyone else through that.